is such a beautiful film. Congratulations on the work that you did in this film.
Thank you very much.
So, for all of our listeners out there, tell us a little bit about your character, because he goes on an amazing journey in this film. So, tell us a little bit about the character that you get to play in this film.
Well, when you meet him, you think that this is a highly successful corporate guy who is at the top of his game, and he's got a presentation for this publicly traded company that he runs, and he starts seeing things. He starts hearing voices and seeing visions, and he is forced to make a choice, going against the will of his mentor, the guy that started that business, and he kind of unravels and quits, and the next thing you know, he's gone back to Italy. It turns out that he was born there and hasn't returned in 50 years. Left Italy when he was 10 years old, and lost his first language. He's having a hard time getting there. He doesn't even know why he wound up there. And his family's very concerned. His wife and his estranged daughter are going after him to throw a net over his head and take his checkbook away from him. And they start finding out what he's kind of discovered already. The simple, blissful things of life isn't all about money.
Exactly. And do you think this is a film that people will be able to relate to more because of what's happened in the last 12 months? We've seen a lot of high-profile people here in Australia who, once they were forced into lockdown, went back and remembered how fun it was to do things like walk through a park or go and lay in the grass and things like that. Do you think this is a film that people will be able to relate to more because of what's happened in the last 12 months?
I think absolutely. I think that even everybody's pleasantly surprised, because I think prior to COVID, there was a real kind of snobbish attitude about these kinds of movies. They're lightweight and feel good and kind of fluffy and, nothing of importance. But it just is about timing, isn't it? Had this movie come out without a pandemic, I think we would have been a little bit more jaded and brushed it off. Wanting to see dystopian reality is not as tasteful anymore because we're living in one.
Exactly, yeah. And it is such a beautiful film. What was it about that screenplay that made you want to play this part when you read it? Because like you said, it is light and fluffy, but it is a beautiful film about a man's journey. What was it about that screenplay that made you want to play the part?
To be completely honest with you, I wanted to go to Italy. It's like I told my agent I didn't want to read the script, because what if I didn't like it? Let me worry about that when I got there. And of course, I read the script, and I was surprised that they wanted me to play it. And after talking to Sean and Paula, I was just very happy. It happened so quickly. We talked on the phone, and we started talking about the script. I was talking with Sean and the writer, and Cullum, and then we were in Toronto. I was in Toronto for like 30 hours, and then I was on a plane going to Italy.
Wow. And what was that like? What is it like going to another country to make a film? Because, of course, when you're shooting in your own country, it must almost feel like, yes, I'm going to work today. But when you're filming in another country, how does that change everything for you when you're filming a film like that?
Well, this wasn't. It wasn't another country. It was Acerenza, which is kind of a mystical, whimsical place. It's like we were up in this mountain village from 5 or 6 thousand feet in the air. There were no hotels. There was one restaurant that catered on the job, and then afterwards we ate there at night. Um, Most of the casting was done locally, just handpicked by Sean. People walking down the road. Uh, in fact, because of the new technology, um, we wouldn't have been able to shoot this movie 5 years ago because you can't get equipment up there because the the the, the streets are so narrow. The best you can get is a vehicle that's no wider than 5 feet. A mule cart. I mean, this is a 4,000-year-old village.
Yeah. And what was the food and the wine like? Because that must have been absolutely amazing. That's a very big part of this film as well. How did you find the actual food and the actual wine in that region?
Well, I don't drink any longer, but everybody else seemed to be happy, and I was reduced to drinking grape juice all that time. But the food was fantastic, and the people were fantastic. And there was this little coffee shop that we would go to. There were two coffee shops, one down by the production office, which was really commandeered by us, but it was really City Hall. And I everybody got sick because we were so high up. We all got bronchitis. And when it was my turn, I went to the doctor to get shots for the bronchitis. They do everything differently there. It was like living in 1925. And I went to the pharmacist to get the medicine to go back to the doctor, and she didn't have some of it. And I said, "Well, I'll come back." And she said, "No, that's okay. You're renting my Airbnb. I'll just drop it off for you."
Being able to immerse yourself in the community like that and get to know the community, did that also help with the role? Because it's a very similar journey for Marco as well. So did that help with the character that you're playing, being able to immerse yourself in that community?
It was like we were filming the reality that was going on. It was quite unusual, and it was magical. Even for Marco Leonardi, who played my best friend Luca. Even he, who lives in Rome, has been in dozens and dozens of movies. He starred in Cinema Paradiso when he was a kid. But even him thought there was something mystically, marvelously magical about Acerenza. And it had its own idea of what this movie was going to be. Because I think the movie became something more than we anticipated.
Definitely. Yeah, and you've played some of the most iconic roles that many of us have...
anticipated anyway.
You've played some of the most iconic roles that some of us have grown up watching. Characters like Captain Howard and Cypher, and characters that we've just... Yeah, your Hollywood royalty as far as we're concerned. So, where does this film rate for you? Was this a film that had a great personal significance for you?
I don't know if it was a personal significance. It was just so much fun, for me, and I liked everybody. I got along with everybody, and they got along with me more or less. It was wonderful. It was just wonderful, and I mean, and the icing on the cake is that people are enjoying the movie, so that makes me very happy.
Definitely.
And I think Marco is very different than a lot of the characters I've gotten to play, which is point of fact, he's very much. I'm very much like him, or he's very much like me.
So tell us a little bit about working with Paula as well, because you two share some amazingly dramatic scenes, but also amazingly beautiful scenes. What was Paula like to work with?
Well, she was great. She's also she was the producer. She worked very hard to get this all set up, and so, but as an actor, she's got this exuberance about her. What's the word? Okay. It's effervescent, and she's way more Italian than I am. They're all first generation Italian Canadians, and her mom came out, and a lot of the guys like Tony Nard and Tony Napo, all of these wonderful actors that came up from Canada to be in the movie, and of course Wendy Kirsten, who's just beautiful actor, just a beautiful actor, and lovely, just and tough, she was great to work with. She made me better. She certainly made me better.
Definitely. Well, Joe, I know we are running out of time very, very quickly. I'm aware that you've got another interview to get to. So to wrap up, what would you like to say to Australians out there who are heading out to see From the Vine this Thursday when it opens?
Well, I miss you so much, and you guys can see it in it now, which is absolutely amazing. And if Sam Neill, Brian Brown, Rachel Ward, if they're in Australia right now, I hope they're good friends of mine, and I hope they're able to go see it.
Definitely. I'm sure they will. And Joe, I'm sure a lot of our listeners will head along and see From the Vine this Thursday as well when it opens. So thank you so much for chatting to us. It's been an absolute honor having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to me and liking the movie, and I really appreciate it.
No problem, Joe. I'll let you go, but have a great night, and hopefully we get to see you in Australia one day.
I hope so. That would be great. Bye-bye.
Definitely, mate. Bye.